Hello everybody, this is Ina again, and thank you so much for coming and visiting me in my little art room. As promised, I want to show you a flip through of my completed mini journal. It was based on the idea of journaling by fives, although I adapted it a little bit. If you have not seen my video where I explain about the little book and how I made it, please check out my YouTube channel. Thank you. And I did take it with me camping, like I told you, and I really enjoyed it. I got quite a few pages done, and when I came home I've completed it, and well, here it is. So I will show you what it looks like now. The cover is still the same. I did not do anything to it. I did add a little pocket right here. I altered a little pocket someone had sent me and added a little doily to match it a little bit. And this is just a price tag of some clothes. I used some little leftover pieces which I had used to decoupage these pages with. And I just stamped JB5 and the arrow. That's all. Alright, and because these pages are a bit small, I'm going to go a little closer, but I'll let you just look at it. There's not really that much to explain, and I'm hoping that my lamp won't cause a glare. So anyway, there are my little pages. It was really a lot of fun. I did add a few more details when I came home on some of them, because even though I traveled very light and took a few art supplies with me, there were a couple of things I kind of missed and I wanted to complete when I got home. I kind of enjoy this idea here, the dragon and the matches. It says long time ago. The idea just came to me, you know, who knows, maybe in those years when there were auto matches, well, maybe there was a dragon in the neighborhood. Anyway, I usually don't offer interpretation for my pages. That's completely up to you. Once in a while, I might give a little hint or some thought I might have had. Now, this was the page, my very first page I'd made when I introduced this old book. I have incorporated quite a few things which people have sent me, so you might recognize some of these little doodads and images. My little mermaid. She has art on her mind. I added those little thought bubbles. And just like in my bigger journals, I did add a border to each page. This one's kind of funny. The images kind of take over. They're rather big for these small pages, but I thought it matched well with the fresh ideas, you know, staying cool, fresh, ice cream fans. And this was actually a sticker, but I didn't want it to look like a sticker, so I repainted it and got rid of the white edges, so it made it look more like painted. There's a little part of a Disney castle, and this was a sticker too. Somebody had sent me this cute little flower bouquet. And this was a page we did together in my last video, as you recall, the Wanderlust. I put this little dream catcher together. I only had the feathers, so I just drew it out. I love the whole idea about the dream catchers. Someone had also sent me these cute little images. This one. And this also came from a friend. Cute little bird cage. Yeah, and then at the end I added this little, it's a little metal embellishment, and don't ask me what it was actually for or from. I bought it in a garage sale with a bunch of broken jewelry, but I thought it was so cute and fit there nicely. So of course, after I finished, I used up more or less all the images I'd kept in here. So instead of the images, I put these cards in there just because somebody had sent them to me, and they're really old greeting cards, and they're so cute. I wished I would know what year they were, but it does not say. They are made in the States, but I would think at least 1960s, if not before that. So yeah, I really like them. They're too cute to cut up, so I will keep them in here. They fit perfect. So this was my little journal, and I would say it was a success. It was real fun to do it in my little tent. And actually all I took, I had this, you know, it's one of those pencil cases, empty now, but it's fairly large. And actually my journal and all my supplies fit in here, and this is all I took, and it worked very well. So that was the whole idea. Of course, when I was just about finished with this, I thought about making another one, because I worked rather quickly through this. I wanted something a little bigger, and maybe not quite as well prepared as this one. Like these pages, before I even went camping, I had already you know, colored the background, gave it a border, stamped it, stenciled it, put some decoupage elements on it. And it was fun to find images to match and to make it look good. But generally that's not the way I do my collage pages. I like a little more, definitely not an empty white page, but you know, not as many elements already present. I like to start usually with the main image and then work from there. So I wanted to do a bigger one and do it a little different. So I'm going to show you what I came up with. So again, I choose a manila envelope because I like the idea. I love the way it comes out, and it's so handy and easy to do. And the one signature idea, I think it's great for something small and light you just want to take with you when you want to do some art away from home. So I used a little bigger manila envelope. This is not the really big one. This one is, let me see, 12 by, let's see, this one is 6, so yeah, 12 by, what was it, 9. Alright, it's probably the medium. The reason I choose it too, because for the pages you need to, inside you need to pick something. You know, printing paper has the perfect size, so if you want to use that, or even the size is more easily available, at least for me, so I didn't want it any bigger. Now I will open this. I'll show you the inside in a moment. Just gonna open it to where you can see the image I used to do the cover. It was basically a magazine spread. It was actually longer. It was like over 4 pages, and it had this beautiful scenery, mountain valleys and clouds, and I really liked the looks of it, and so I decoupaged it on this side and also on the inside. It was enough to cover all those pages, but then I also decoupaged a white napkin over it. The backside, you know, the white thin backside of other napkins I'd used before, the ones you always have to take off, yeah, because I love the texture it gives, and that worked well. And I actually strengthened the border by, after I was done decoupaging a whole piece, I took little bits and pieces and went all around the edges, over the edges from here to there to strengthen them a bit. And I thought it came out really cool because it gives it a bit of that cloudy kind of feeling, and I like that. And then I shaded a little bit with some turquoise and some brown ink pads. I just went all around it in with my finger method you are familiar with by now. And then I was looking, of course, for an image too. And again, because I used this from a magazine, it had some advertisement right here. So I came up with this bus. I do have a real liking for old VW buses. I guess they bring back good memories. So I found this bus that already had the designs on it, but I, how do you say, I recolored them to make them come out a bit more and did a little bit of embellishment and outlining. Here where the license plate was, I wrote art, and then I found these words and luck happens, and I thought it was kind of fitting about, you know, going forward in a positive, you know, motion. I'm a firm believer in if you're positive and, you know, cheerful, then good things will find you. So, after I was done with that was a question of how to close it. In this case, I opted to leave the flat inside because this opening is so big that when I put things in here, they're more easy to fall out if it doesn't have a closure here. So I opted to leave the flat inside, made a very simple closure, one of those. It's just a couple of brads here. I just go around like this. There we go. And then here I just put a little button. It's one of those buttons who come, there's probably a special name for it, but they come with their own little ring, I guess, so you can sew them on. And I was able to push it through a hole. It's a very tight fit. And then on the other side I had to secure it somehow. I've seen people use paper clips, and I'm sure that works just fine. But I found these little rings there from for jewelry making, and they're open rings. They are kind of, let's say, a miniature version of the old-fashioned key rings. So you'll just, you know, put it in there and it stays and holds it in place, and it's very small, and yeah, I like them. So, and then I just did a little, and I could not find a proper hair elastic. You know, the normal adult hair elastics are quite long and too long. So I finally ended up with a little tiny baby one here, which I stole from my granddaughter. And I sliced it so it was thinner than it was, because, you know, they're kind of fluffy and I didn't really like that. I'm not too happy with elastic, and I might put a different one at one point, but for right now, that's fine. And then, of course, I needed some beads, and I had these two cute little hippie beads left, so I wanted them on here. And in this book, I remembered ahead of time the way I wanted to do it, and they're sewn in with the signature. So you come out with your thread your beads, go back in, and then sew the next one. And that makes them quite secure, and they don't, you know, I didn't want something dangling. And so in this journal here, I didn't think about that ahead of time. So I had sewed in the signature, and the strings were just coming out, and I thought, okay, I put some little charms on it. But when I started doing that, I realized I didn't really want the dangle either, so I opted again for beads, but then had to take the end here and just go through my journal inside and then just tie it up here. So it has a little knot here, which, you know, would be nice if it wasn't, but it's no big deal. So anyway, here I remembered, and I did it that proper way. All right, so now the inside is really quite simple because, as I told you, I wanted to just have more or less plain pages. Not white, but more or less plain and simple, so I could start from scratch when I'm on the road. Still in not needing too many supplies because the main color is already there, but it just gives me more option to make my pages the way I wanted it. But I did wanted to put a little tag. I like tags. So these are nearly all the tags in here. You see there are more. They were given to me by people. This was a tag too. I just made a pocket out of it. Oh yeah, in my little journal, in this one, I used doilies to kind of separate the pages. And because I again wanted each page separate, I don't want to do doilies again. I took these paper bags. You can find them at Michael's, where you get cooking supplies. And all I did, I just opened the bottom here. They're open fairly good. Sometimes a little bit of paper gets stuck to one side, but they open quite easy. You can even take those little things out if you don't like them, like this. And then you have 2 openings, so you just fold them in half, and I sew them in there. But again, I didn't want them all to be shiny white, so I have this tiny container, oops, nearly empty. It's just instant coffee and water and nothing fancy. And you just spray them a little bit. Oops, sorry, nearly empty. Just like that. Right, a little bit. And I just let them air dry. I wasn't in a hurry at the time, but you can blow dry them or with your heat gun or fan, whatever you use, not fan, what do you call it, hair dryer. And then after that, I just folded them and inserted them between each pages. So these pages, because I didn't want to go just for the printing paper, because it is a bit thin. I went in my stash and I found this paper. I believe this is meant for portfolios, you know, those kind of things. So I found this one pack of paper, this one here. It's just a little bit heavier than the others. Not thick, but a little heavier. So I decided to use this up, and again, it was just a matter of putting it double like this, coloring it, putting the little bags in the middle everywhere, and sewing it in. Now, to color this, I don't know about you, but when I need to color one page and the other page, I tend to make a mess. No matter if it's acrylics or watercolor, it seems like something always comes on the other page. Now sometimes it doesn't matter, and it wouldn't have probably mattered that much here either, but I just didn't want to have the whole mess with that. So, because in my bigger journal, the one I usually work with, I find I really like the loose leaf one, where I can take my page out, work with it, and then put it back in, and I prefer that. But of course, these little things, these little albums are sewn in, so, you know, that's just easier. So anyway, I wanted to avoid the whole mess, so I decided to use my pen pastels, and I'm just going to show you real quick how I did this. I mean, as you can see, they're very simple. I tried to vary colors a little bit, so I have a little variety, and see in between every time there is a little bit of, and this is the middle, so of course it has the whole pocket. But this will help me to make a little differentiation between the pages. It also gives me a little journaling spot, or maybe I will do something else with it. And also I show you, I inserted little tags. Each one of them has a little tag in it. I'm not going to go through, you know what a tag is, and they're all different colors. Some people have sent me, some are made. Anyway, they all have a, this is cute, little composition book tag. Because I thought I can write on it, or these little pockets could come in handy, you know, you camping or you in holiday and you find something, a little flower you want to press, the lucky clover, a pretty leaf, who knows. So that could all go in here. So I see, oh, this actually one I made from a perfume box. Yeah, I like to recycle these things. Anyway, and so there is one in each one. But, you know, it's still a pocket, so it could be useful for other things too. It could even just journal on here too. Okay, let me just show you really quickly how I did this pen pastel thing. I'm just going to cut this in half, because if I show you half of it, then it gives you an idea. Pen pastels are just super quick. Now, when I show you the ones I have, you're probably going to laugh at me, because I have this Mickey Mouse version I found at a thrift store. And yes, they're probably poor quality, not artist material by any means. But I tell you what, they work, and the thing is, I've seen people work with pan pastels on videos, and I found it very intriguing, and I was very tempted to buy me some, but they are not cheap, the good ones. And I wasn't sure if I was really going to use them. So this way, it gave me an opportunity to try them out, to see, do I like them? And now I do really like them. I love the way they blend, and these kind of very soft pastel colors, and I have already used them in my big journals. So now if I see a good deal on some better quality ones, it'd be way easier for me to make a decision on these. So anyway, I'm just gonna show you when I got them. They were at least all in one piece. Now some of them are already broken, because some colors, of course, I like a lot better. So I use these little, whatever you call these. Sorry, I'm not very good with specific. I know, but it doesn't come to me, maybe. Alright, and then basically all I did, I picked about 2-3 colors. And again, that's completely all up to you. And you can see they color quite nicely, but they do make a bit of a mess, which I presume that when you get something a little better quality, you don't have all this dust flying everywhere. But then again, it's pretty minor. The nice thing is with this, as you can see, it's all dry, so nothing really goes on the other side. So when you're done with this, the best thing to do is take a clean cloth and just wipe it off. Sorry, did I go out of the picture? Alright, wipe it off, whoa! And then you don't throw your little pan pastels everywhere, but you put them away. Alright, put them all back in here. So, well, it's not, let me do a little more, because this is not so bright. It does come better. You need to work at it just a little with these ones. Again, if you have some fancy ones, probably go way faster and you get some nice coloring. But these do give a fairly nice color when you put a little time into it. Alright. Now what I do, because pan pastel, from what I understand, they have to be, oh boy, again, what's the word for that? I meant to be secured, but not secured. They have to be, anyway, you know exactly what I mean. Because there are, like if I put my hands on them now, they will come off and color my finger. And you don't really want that. You want them to, you know, stay on the page. The easiest way I found what to do is use hairspray. Get this really cheap hairspray in the dollar store. Go just like that, and it will dry fairly fast. You can dry it with a hairdryer if you want, or just let it dry. What happens after the hairspray dries, it will not come off on my finger. Now that doesn't mean it's completely permanent. When I have it in my books and I add anything watery, maybe Mod Podge or glue, they will move a little bit. Not too bad, a little bit. Now in my kind of journaling, my collage journaling, it really doesn't matter much. But they definitely, when it's dry, I don't want to touch it now, they won't come off on your hands anymore after you use the hairspray. So I suggest that. Fixative, that's what it is, right? Alright, so that's pretty much it. This is not so long. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe this will give you an idea for another journal. As I said, this would be something I will set aside a little while now. I won't work in it right away, because I really want to have this one to take along on our next trip. Right now I'm working on one of my more bigger journals, and hopefully I will post another video soon with another process video of how I do my pages. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please excuse all the many mistakes. I know I make a lot of them. I listen to my videos when I'm all done and I go, oh, you know, what did you say? You didn't finish your sentence and you used the wrong words. And yeah, I think sometimes my thoughts are faster than I can speak. But I hope you still enjoyed this. And thank you so much for all the ones who subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye bye.